Here we are again with another car comparison. What we're looking at is Japan's first supercar. It's the Toyota 2000 GT. This was made between 1967 and 1970. Around 340 were made in the real world. And it was penned by a person, Satoru Nozaki. He penned the beautiful aluminum body that you're looking at here. So we're comparing two brands. One is Konami, which is the yellow one, and then the other is Kyosho, which is the white one. Well, some other interesting information. I found out that this was sold for around $6,800 back then, which is around $52,000 in today's money. So in today's money, it seems like a relative bargain for a supercar. Steve just sold it for over $1 million at auction nowadays, so it's a well sought after car with only 340 made. Don't know how many actually exist these days. So there was a 2-liter inline 6 up front making 150 horsepower. It was actually a tweaked engine, Toyota Crown engine, but it was tweaked by Yamaha. And also Yamaha supplied a lot of wood for the interior panels because Yamaha also makes musical instruments. It was actually a really successful car as far as competition and speed records go. It actually claimed 13 speed records back then. And it also led to the development of a less powerful vehicle called the 1600 GT, which we now know as the Toyota Celica. There was even a modified version, a convertible version, in a James Bond movie with Sean Connery called You Only Live Twice. And I've seen that movie, so I remember that car. Okay, let's talk about the actual casts there. Before I pull them up, I did measure them, and they're both so close to their real dimensions that dimensionally I'd say go for either one. It's really just a matter of which details you like more. So I'm going to start with the Konami here, I guess, this yellow one. I know that because when I press the wheels, Konamis have suspension. Okay, so let's try to focus here. Come on, yellow. Okay, so I did look up images of the real car, and this triangular badge seems more accurate in size. It's really big on the other diecast. But you can see nice crisp panel lines here, and considering it's a yellow paint, it's actually not filled in a lot, so that's good. Okay, so looking at the wheels though, you'll notice they are blanked off. There's no air going through between the spokes. They are color coded to the proper color scheme. The centers are like a silvery chrome finish on the real wheels, and then they're darker on the perimeter in the middle here, so that seems relatively accurate. Some curvature to the tires here, and then I've seen photos where they have the turn signals here orange, so that's cool. And then these are supposed to be like some sort of chrome bumperettes or something. What doesn't really match up is this thing here. These either brake lights or running lights here sticking out, but they're simply not this big on the real car, so this is over proportioned, I think. Okay, let's go to the front. The front seems relatively good. I mean, this is really, well, it's a little taller than that one, which I'll compare the two later, but one thing that doesn't really match up with photos of the real car is how these are so pointy here. It doesn't seem very accurate. These silver ridges are supposed to be the hinges. This hood flips forward, and these are part of the hinges. Okay, so nice ribbing there. But yeah, the casting has nice panel lines, so that's good. You can see the bulges here against the head and the roof. Black interior, and Konami paints their steering wheels a different color, so that's a nice touch. Okay, let's wrap around to the back. So it does have printing here. It says Toyota 2000 GT. I can read it on the camera screen. This is the gas cap, and it does actually protrude above the bodywork, so that's pretty accurate. I'm guessing this is an antenna base. Okay. Now, where this model falls down is, this is just a chrome plastic piece, and they painted red for the lights there, and these are clear on the real car, so they didn't bother painting them. White license plate, keyhole, that's fine, and chromed exhaust tips, really thin, by the way. I mean, look how thin they are compared to my finger, so it's quite daring to make such a thin piece of plastic stick out that far, but pretty good. The only thing really lacking in this vehicle's accuracy is this and that, I think. On the bottom, pretty plain. But let's see when this was made. 2005? Is that what it says? So this is an old diecast. But the paint seems to be holding up pretty well, which is actually quite rare for yellow. I would expect some bubbling. Okay, so the tires do seem a bit wide for the era. The tread looks pretty accurate for the era, but not the width. Okay, so it's a riveted base. Okay, so that's what's going on with the Konami. Now let's look at the details here of the Kyosho, this white one. Starting in the same type of order. This badge is way too large. The real car doesn't have this giant badge there. Now looking at the casting, because it's a white car, they filled in the paint to cover up the metal, the darkness of the metal you can see there. So the paint finish on this model is not really good. Okay, but the wheels are similar. It's shiny in the middle and like a gunmetal here and then a chrome lip, so fairly similar, but the accuracy is better on this one because there actually is air going through these spokes, I think. Let me see. Am I wrong? No, maybe I'm wrong. Wow. What's that? Check. I mean, it looks like air. I'm putting my probe in there. Yeah, that's not paint. So in this case, what I think is, you can see here, I think the back is solid. Maybe this is a two-piece wheel. I'm not going to try to take the tire off right now, but it looks very accurate. I mean, these black rectangles, I'm putting the probe in there, so it's not blocked off like the other one. Okay, now there's less definition here on the bump, and it is silver there on the real car, so it's like this one's not as defined, but it's accurate, whereas the other one's a much larger out of proportion, but looks more defined. Okay. I think I went to the front. Okay, so now these pop-up headlight covers are more accurate to the photos of the real car. They're more triangular. Okay, so that's just painted on. They're not physically molded ridges. The other car had physically molded ridges like the real car. Again, white paint is filling in those grooves quite a bit. Okay. Now I did look at photos of the car again in real life, and some of them have like either white or it's chrome here, whereas the other model had it painted orange. So I don't know which one's correct. Maybe there are variations of this car over the years. Okay, this side, what is that? Okay, so yeah, panel lines are filled in a lot. Kyosho doesn't write when they make their stuff, but this is nice chromed plastic separate piece, and again, really thin exhaust tips. And in this case, it seems to be more definition there. There's a little bit of a concave surface there. Where this model is clearly better is the tail lights. You got this chrome surround and then red translucent plastic tail lights. See, they can catch the light. But what's not accurate, these middle lights should be white because they look white on the real car. So this is accurate, this is not accurate. Okay. So these rear bumpers, that looks pretty good. Alright, so let's go to the top. Same Toyota 2000 GT, and that looks legible as well. Now the gas cap does not protrude above the bodywork, so that's not accurate. It's just almost flush, but it is painted silver, so at least they got that. And then the radio bump, that actually does stick up. The antenna bump there. Okay, an all black interior, no color going on. This one does seem to have paint on the, well, that's weird. I'm looking at the windshield wipers. The plastic, they're silver paint, and it looks like there's a ridge, but I can't see much definition of a windshield wiper. Yeah, there's a molded in wiper, but they didn't hit it right with the silver. So, that wasn't the best execution. Alright, so, now, let me pull up my little plastic comparison board here. And if you need to pause the video, you can pause it and make your own decisions. But I'm going to go with Kyosho on this one. So yellow is Konami, and the white one is Kyosho. So that's the front end. You notice the grill is a little squatter on the white car, whereas the middle of the grill is a lot taller here on the yellow car. Where Konami did a better job is the raised hinges here for the engine cover from the engine hood. So that is raised on the real car, whereas this is just painted silver, but it's the same body surface. But where the white car is better is look at the shape of the pop-up lights. This looks more real to me. This does not look real when you compare to the real car. Okay, let's go to the back. So it's kind of like, technically, the Konami got it right because it's red and clear. But this has translucent plastic, but that should be clear plastic. So I like the muffler tips on this one. Looks a little more defined. But here you got the protruding gas cap, so that's better there. But here you got these giant running lights there that don't look close to what's on the real car. But this one has the better proportions, just no detail. So there's a little bit of good and bad in both of these models. But I'm gonna go with the white one myself. I'm gonna go with Kyosho for the win here. Okay, well, do what you will. If you don't have any of these, I guess either one of them has their pluses, and it's up for you to decide on your own. Happy collecting. Bye.